Okay, welcome back to another glorious day in the Corps. For this one we're doing the Mission 2 Escape, and as you can see by the extra tile, it has been expanded thanks to the Get Away From It expansion, but it doesn't really seem to affect the critical path that much. So what we've got to do with this mission is we have our 4 trapped Marines in the hive. They need to extract back to the APC where Ripley, Gorman and Newt spawn. So they need to work their way down this path all through the hive, past the spawn points, and then back into the APC and exit out the back. So for this one, the mission ends in failure if all the trapped Marines are killed or captured. Once the surviving characters move on to the exit token, the mission ends. If at least one of the trapped Marines exits the game board, we succeed in the mission. I have shuffled 3 random level threat level 1 and 3 random threat level 2 cards together at the top of the motion tracker deck, but we don't draw motion cards until turn 2. There is also a special rule for this mission, push through. Normally a character must immediately stop its move action if it enters a space next to a xenomorph or blip token. However, in this one we can move past them. As soon as a character enters a space next to an alien model and wishes to continue moving, roll a Marine die. On a 6 or lower, the character may pass by unharmed and complete the rest of the movement. Otherwise, it stops and loses all further actions for that activation. So, yes, we can get past xenomorph hordes if we absolutely need to, but if that was our first action to do so, it may stop us from doing anything and leave us completely open to attack. So, bit of a risk-reward situation there. So, all the Marines have their gear from last time. Newt, I didn't actually equip her with anything, so she started with nothing, so I'll have to try and see if I can get her something as we continue on with this mission. But the important thing is to try and get those 4 Marines out and out the back of the APC. Okay then, so at the start of the Marine phase, let's activate Ripley. Currently no cards to shuffle back in, but we do get to draw one. Such an exhaust card for any card and add to the hand, or choose the top 5 cards on the motion tracker and maybe put at the bottom. Okay, so that could be useful later, but we'll keep that in mind for now. So we'll get Ripley to move twice. We don't draw motion tracker cards until the end of turn 2, so let's use this to get as far up the board as we can with these guys. So Ripley has a move speed of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll then activate Gorman to follow her. So he'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll get Newt to move. She has a move speed of 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of her activation, exhaust 2 cards to move a character within line of sight 2 spaces towards Newt. Will be useful later, but not so much for now, I think, so we'll leave that be for now. Okay, let's activate the Marines. So, there are a couple of blips waiting around this corner. Vasquez can actually draw a line of sight from where she is to these first 2. It's 2 xenomorphs and 1 xenomorph, so we'll get those models on the board. Okay, so already from the off we can see 3 xenomorphs around that corner. So let's activate one of the Marines to lead the charge. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could get Frost to go up because he could probably scorch all 3 of those with 1 burst from the Flamer. Yeah, let's give that a go. So we'll activate Frost first. He moves 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he activates with his Flamer and will fire onto this xenomorph here. He can also see all of the blips from there actually, so we'll just flip those over, see what we're dealing with. Okay, so 7 in the back group and 5 in the front one, so let's get those models on the board. Okay then, so we're pushing forward into a fair amount of xenomorphs. Frost's first action was to move, so we'll use his second one to activate his flamethrower. So exhausting 2 cards to attack with it. 1, 2. And for the flamethrower, we are going to fire it onto that space there so we can hopefully barbecue all 3 of those xenomorph piles. So let's start with the guy on his own. Dies on a 7 or less. That's a 5, that's a kill. This one here, there's 2 of them, 7 or less. First one is dead. Second one is dead. Great. The 2 behind, 7 or less. There's a 4. And the next one, that's a 7, both dead. That's a great start to proceedings. And that's both of Frost's actions. So let's get one of the other Marines to move up and see if we can thin the next group. Let's get Vasquez to move. So she goes 1, 2, 3, 4. and around there she can actually draw a line of sight to all of those aliens. So let's open up with the smart gun. Costs 2 to do it because it's Vasquez. 1, 2. Rolling both dice, and let's hit the lead pack first. So with the smart gun, Vasquez is hitting on 6 or less on either of these dice. That is a 4, so 1 dies. Spend another card. Second one of that group, 5 or less. That's a 4, another one goes. Drops down to 4, another card. Last one, see if we can eliminate that stack. 4 or less. 2. Whole stack of 3's gone. Brilliant. And we can keep firing. Now 3 or less, spending a card to do so onto this solitary xenomorph. No, both 4s, that is a miss. So that guy is still alive. Okay, let's send Hudson out front. Moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's all of his moves to get there. And then we'll get Hicks to move 1, 2, 3. And for his second action, we'll get him to rest to recycle 3 of those cards back into the endurance deck. Okay then, so that's all the Marines done. So on to the alien phase. Active xenomorphs, there's a couple here. This guy moves 6. 1, 2, 3, and then attacks Hudson. But before he does so, we can fire defensive fire. So let's not attack with a pulse rifle, we'll attack with a pistol first and hope we hit with that. So hits on a 6 or less. That's a 2, that's a kill. Gunned down by the pistol. The next one comes through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Attacks Hudson as well. Let's fire off his pistol again, this time hitting on a 5. As an 8, he misses. We can spend a card so that he attacks again, this time hitting on a 4. That's a 5, misses. Okay, also from there, Hicks can draw a line of sight because the black bar is there, that's why he can see through there. So let's shoot off with Hicks. Let's fire the pulse rifle because the pistol only have 2 shots and potentially we could kill all 3 with the pulse rifle. So hitting on 6 or less. Or we would potentially if he could aim. So yep, that's a miss. Let's get Vasquez. She would be hitting on, I think it'd be 2s or less. That's quite a big group of them, so it's unlikely to go well for Hudson if they slap him. So, yeah, let's exhaust 2 cards, try and kill them with Vasquez's smart gun. 2 or less. Misses. Okay. So, all defensive fire is missed. That group of 3 xenomorphs is attacking Hudson. So, rolling the marine die. Okay. That's a 9, adding 2 becomes 11, that's over 10, so if we let that slide, Hudson is dead. Do we have anything against that? Okay, so Hudson's way out of Ripley's ability, so we're going to have to rely on his body armour. So if you fail a defense roll, reveal a card. If it's green or yellow, re-roll. If it's blue, exhaust the card. It's blue, exhaust the card. So the body armour is exhausted, and it doesn't save Hudson. And I don't think there's anything anybody else can do. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else anybody can do. So that horde of xenomorphs comes up, swipes at Hudson, and he bleeds out on the floor. Hudson is dead. So, okay, activate blips. Currently no blips on the board. Draw motion trackers, we don't do that on turn 1. So, moving into turn 2. Okay, so let's get the support group moving to try and get and help these Marines. So we'll activate Ripley first. She moves a grand total of 10 for both move actions. When she activates, we recycle 2 cards and we draw 1. Some grenades might be useful to hang on to. Let's get her moving up the board first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does Gorman have to be in line of sight for Newt's ability to bring him along? Yes. So let's activate Gorman first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll do Newt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then at the end of Newt's activation, we will exhaust 2 cards to move at Gorman, who's in line of sight, and additional 2 spaces towards Newt. 1, 2. Yep, so we will activate Frost's Flamethrower, exhausting 2 cards to do so. into that stack. First one dies on a 7 or less. Dies. Second one lives. Third one dies. So one xenomorph left. Good, so Frost's second action was to rest, so we recycled some cards. Let's send Hicks forwards because it might be cheaper for him to try and kill a solitary xenomorph on his own. So 1, 2, 3, and we'll fire off the pistol. Let's hope we can do it on the cheap. So 6 or less. That's an 8. Spend a card to shoot again with the pistol. Hitting on a 5 or less. Misses both. Okay, so it's really up to Vasquez at this point. So exhausting 2 cards with the smart gun. Hitting on 6 or less with either dice. That's a 6. Kills the xenomorph. So expensive, but we got there. So let's move Vasquez forward with the second action. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's the Marines done. So moving into the alien phase. Activate aliens. Currently no active aliens. Activate blips. Currently no active blips. However, it is now turn 2, so we are drawing motion tracker cards, and we draw 2 of them. So the first one. Place a tunnel token in a square within line of sight and next to a character. Currently the only characters is Ripley and Newt, so they're all over there. Reveal a card. If it's yellow or green, place 1 blip on the tunnel. If it's blue or red, place 2 blips on every tunnel. It's blue, so 2 blips come out of the tunnel, spawning next to Ripley. So for the first motion tracker card, 2 blips have popped out of the ceiling right in front of Ripley. So let's flip these, see what they are. 2 and 4, 6 xenomorphs total. Get them on the board. Okay, so quite a few xenomorphs have popped up next to Ripley, and that's only the first motion tracker card. For the second one, 2 blips on 2. If there's more than 1 hazard in the discard pile, there is not, so we don't need to worry about that. But there are 2 blips popping out of spawn point 2, which is there. 1, 2. Vasquez can draw a line of sight to that one, so we flip that. That is a 3, so we'll get those on the board. So another 3 xenomorphs trying to cut off the retreating Marines. Okay, so that's the end of turn 2. Moving on to turn 3, Marine phase. So let's activate Ripley first. Exhaust 2 cards. Well, put 2 cards from the exhaust pile back in and draw 1. Spare pistol. Okay. Ripley's first action, she will step back to there, and then she'll open fire with the pulse rifle onto this group of 4. So currently, well, spend a card and then hitting on 7 or less. Kills 1. Spend another card, hitting on 6 or less. Nope. So we just managed to kill the one with the pulse rifle. Okay, let's get Gorman in with the flamer. 1, 2, 3, and we'll fire the flamethrower onto this one here, so it'll splash damage to them. So spending 2 cards to do so, and all the xenomorphs in here on a 7 or less. There's currently 3 in that pile. First one lives. Second one dies. Third one dies. Okay, so there's 1 left there. And then for the pair of them at the back, 7 or less. 1 dies. 1 lives. So 2 xenomorphs left there. Newt kind of don't want it to go anywhere, so we'll get her to stand, and as part of that she will rest twice. She gets an additional card when she rests, so that's 8 total going back in the deck. Okay then, as for the rest of the Marines, let's get Hicks and Frost to move up first and then decide what we're doing with Vasquez. So Hicks will move 1, 2, 3, 4, and from there he'll take a shot into those xenomorphs. So hitting on a 6 or less, spending a card to do so. Misses. Okay, that's him done. Okay, so let's get Frost to advance up the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's both of his actions to get there, so he isn't shooting. Let's get... Actually, can they see that other blip from there? I think not, actually, so that blip's still hidden, but let's get Vasquez to move up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so she's in range of those xenomorphs if they decide to come after her. But let's fire off Vasquez's smart gun, spending 2 cards to do so. 2 dice. 6s or less on either. Kills 1. Spend another card. 5s or less. That's a 5. Kills another. Spend another card. Last one that's visible. 4s or less. Misses. Okay, so killed 2 with the smart gun, but there's still 1 there that will be able to reach her. So, going into the alien phase then, and activates aliens. So yep, going into the alien phase, first off, activate aliens. This one here will attempt to attack Gorman, since he stood right there. Let's get... Gorman has his shotgun, so exhaust 1 card. Yep, so we'll get him to fire his shotgun off. Spends a card to do so, and it always hits on a 5 or less. Misses. And so firing defensive fire with Ripley, spent a card to do so, she is hitting on a 6 or less. That's a star, that kills the xenomorph. So next one moves in and attacks Gorman. We'll spend a card for him to shoot his shotgun again, hits on a 5 or less. Kills it. Dead xenomorph. So all the ones that burst out the ceiling have now been dealt with, but there's still this xenomorph up here. He moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Has a swipe at Vasquez. So again, hits the fire off his pistol, hitting on a 6 or less. That's a 6. Kills it. And the board's currently clear of xenomorphs so far. So activate blips. There's just the 1 blip up here. See how far it moves. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and flip it. It's 2 xenomorphs. Okay, so 2 xenomorphs still there trying to cut off the Marines, but we're also doing motion tracker cards. First one. Blip on 3. If it's not within line of sight, it immediately moves 4 spaces. Spawn point 3 is right there. Nobody can see it, so it moves 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one. Blip on 1. If there's already a blip on it, it moves 4. There is nothing on 1, so it stays exactly where it is. Okay, so not many xenomorphs on the board, but some of our access routes are starting to get cut off and it's going to get more clogged as we go. So we really need to get these Marines out of here as we move into turn 4. So start the Marine phase. Ripley activates and recycles 2 cards back into the endurance deck, and we draw 1. More grenades. Okay. These go back in. Okay, so let's deal with this blip that's coming up behind us. I'm hoping those Marines can handle themselves and then get to us, but let's deal with this one here. So Ripley will step around, 1, 2, which allows her to see that blip. It's 3 xenomorphs. Okay, and for her second action, let's open up on those xenomorphs, spending a card to do so, hitting on a 7 or less with the pulse rifle. Kills 1. Spend another card, 6 or less. Kills another, spend another card, 5 or less. Kills them all. With that all nice and tidy, let's just get Gorman to step there for 2, and he'll rest, allowing us to put 3 cards back in the draw pile. Okay, for the rest of the Marines then, let's get Vasquez to open up with a smart gun onto those 2 xenomorphs, spending 2 cards to do so. Both dice, hit on 6 or less on either. That's a 2, kills 1. Then spend another card. It's on 5s or less. That's a star, kills the other. Good stuff. And as our first action, so for a second we'll get her to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll get Frost and Hicks to move twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so not looking too bad. The board is quite clear for now. There's still a blip on it, so we go into the alien phase. No active xenomorphs, but there is the active blip. So let's see how far this one goes. 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can see it from there. It's 5 xenomorphs. So staring down 5 xenomorphs that are trying to close off our escape route. So now we draw motion tracker cards. First one. Blip on 4, reveal a card. If it's blue, place another blip at 1. If it's red, place another at 4. It's yellow, it's neither. Next one. Blip on 2. If already has a... Nope, there's nothing on 2, but we place a single blip on 2. Vasquez can see it from there, so we flip it. It's 4 xenomorphs. Okay then, so moving into turn 4. So, start marine activation. Ripley activates, recycle 2 cards back in, and we draw one. Ooh, hazard. This is a new one. Reveal a card and then recycle this card. So we'll reveal first, then see what it is. It's green. Move each blip and alien 1 space. Okay. So, xenomorphs get closer and closer, and that blip moves. So, could have been worse as a hazard, but it goes straight back in the deck. Okay then, so that was Ripley's on activation ability. So for now, she can actually draw a line of sight to those xenomorphs past Gorman. And there's probably going to be 1 or 2 that survives the flamer. So we'll use her first action to fire off the pulse rifle, spending a card to do so. Hitting on a 7 or less. Misses. Kind of have to. For a second action, we'll fire again, hitting on 6 or less. Misses as well. Not good, Ripley. Not good at all. Okay, so let's activate Gorman, try and get that horde out. Spending 2 cards to fire the flamethrower. Hits on 7 or less. There's currently 5 in that stack. First one, dead. Second one, dead. Third one, also dead. Fourth one, lives. Dead. So out of those 5, just 1 xenomorph has survived it. Okay, so for Gorman's second action then, let's just spend a card to fire off his shotgun. Always hits on a 5 or less. Misses. Let's push back to a safe distance and try and go from there, I think. So we'll get Frost to move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll get Hicks to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll get Vasquez to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we move him again? Yes, because I don't think they'll catch us if we move again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, we can activate Newt, so we'll get her to recycle a total of 8 cards back into the draw pile. Okay, so before we end the marine turn, let's use Vasquez's motion tracker. It's a free action. Reveal a card. If it's yellow or green, look at the top 2 cards of the motion tracker deck and place one of those at the bottom. If it's blue, we exhaust it. So revealing a card, looking for yellow or green. It's a red. Okay, so I've just read up on it, so you must actually play the hazard cards when they're revealed. So, place this on the character. At the start of the character's activation, reveal a card. Reduce the name by 2, takes 1 less action. Ooh, that's bad. That's very bad. So, that goes on Ripley. Okay, yeah, let's use Hicks's shoulder lamp. So, look at the top card of the motion tracker deck is what we'll do. And we may exhaust the card to place it on the bottom if we want to. Players must choose to either exhaust 4 cards or place 1 more blip at spawn 3. That's quite bad, actually, because that spawn point 3 is right there, and we don't want to be exhausting cards now. And the ones at 2 we don't really have to worry about. So let's exhaust Hicks's shoulder lamp to put that card up the back of the deck. Okay then, so that's all the marine actions done, so let's go into the alien phase. First off, activate aliens. This xenomorph here moves 1 and tries to have a go at Gorman. So let's fire off Gorman's shotgun with a card. Always hits on a 5 or less. Oh, that was almost a 3. Misses. Ripley can also see from there, so let's spend a card with her. She hits on a 5 or less. That's a kill. That xenomorph goes away. This part of the xenomorph up here moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so those xenomorphs are gaining, but they're not actually in range to hit us just yet, but that could be a problem next turn. So, activate blips. There's currently a blip on 4. How far does it move? 2. 1, 2. So we draw motion tracker cards, 2 of them. First one, blip on 4. Exhaust a card for each character within line of sight when it spawns. No one can see spawn point 4. It just appears there. Next one. 2 blips on 1. Either exhaust 4 cards or place 1 more blip at spawn 4. Don't much care about spawn 4, so it can have the free blip over there. But we do have to place 2 at spawn 1. 1, 2. And from that angle, Ripley can see both of those. So let's flip them. 2, 5. A lot of xenomorphs appearing behind us. Okay, so quite a few xenomorphs have popped out of spawn point 1, and they could really pose a problem for us. So, going into the marine phase then, in turn 5. So, start marine phase, activate Ripley, recycles 2 cards, and then draws 1. Oh, for God's sake! Right, reveal a card. It's blue. Exhaust 8 endurance cards and then discard this card. So that goes away and we exhaust 8 endurance cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reshuffle, we'll do that once we've done this. 7, 8. And then we reshuffle this deck. Yeah, so I'll spend a card to take one of these out of my hand since Ripley is right next to Frost. That allows him to get some grenades as a backup weapon. Okay, so for the rest of the actions then. Also, got to reveal that hazard on Ripley. So on the character's activation, reveal a card. It's green. Reduce this character's aim by 2. So Ripley is starting her turn with an aim dial of 5. Okay, so with Ripley's lessened aim figure, that's not going to be good for us. Do we just run the hell away? We could make this work, I think. So, we'll get Ripley to activate first, and she moves 10 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Vasquez is the furthest away, so let's get her sorted first. She moves 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she'll move 8. Newt moves 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And don't want to get in a too far away in case anything nasty pops out of 3. Gorman's got a flamer, so he's not really going to be able to defensive fire that well. I'm going to move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Operation Leggett has commenced, but I think it's highly likely we are still going to get some xenomorph trouble. But we'll find out as we go into the alien phase. First off, activate aliens. This one moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's a conga line of aliens behind us. Also, there's a load of blips up there. How far do they move? 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next, motion tracker cards. First one. Either exhaust 4 cards or place 1 more blip at spawn 2. So we've got 2 naturally spawning at spawn point 4. Don't much care about them. But do we exhaust the cards and place 1 more blip at spawn 2? Spawn 2's a long way behind us, so I don't think that matters. Let's put the blip at spawn 2. And the next card. Single blip at 2, exhaust 1 with each line of sight. Nobody can see spawn 2, so we just get another blip spawning there. Okay, so not a particularly bad turn for us as we move into turn 6. Start of activation, Ripley activates and recycles 2 cards back in. 1, 2, and draws 1. Another pistol. Yeah, I think we're ahead of the xenomorphs. If we can get past spawn 3 and get some distance, hopefully we can get gone before they are on us. So, let's get Ripley to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll get Gorman to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Newt moves 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the end of Newt's activation, let's exhaust 2 cards to get Hicks to move an additional 2 spaces. 1, 2. Okay, so we're almost out of this. Nobody fired anything, that's everyone's activations done. Into the alien phase. Active Xenomorphs, they move 6. We're all outpacing them. Hopefully nothing nasty pops out of 3. These blips though, how far do they move? 3 apiece. Okay, on to motion tracker cards. First one, recycle a card. Oh, go on then. And the second one, oh, I forgot about Ripley's hazard actually, my bad. Needed to reveal a card for that. It's yellow. Character takes 1 less action during their activation, so Ripley should be 5 spaces back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so carrying on with that motion tracker we just drew, place a tunnel token in a square within line of sight to a character. So place it next to Ripley. There. Then reveal a card. It's green. Place 2 blips on the tunnel token. Blip, blip. And obviously Ripley can see those, so let's flip them. 2 Xenomorphs, 4 Xenomorphs. I'll get those on the board. Okay, so a couple more Xenomorphs have spawned out of a tunnel next to Ripley, and we've still got a motion... No, we don't. We recycled one as the first motion tracker, didn't we? So that's us done. Star Marine phase. Ripley recycles 2 cards, and then she draws 1. Just an event. So let's activate Ripley and get her as far away from them as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 off. Hopefully this means we can get everybody else off. Vasquez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 off. Frost, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 off. And the others can make it off. So we have successfully extracted most of the team, with one notable exception. Hudson did not make it out. He is dead. He is not making an appearance for the rest of this campaign. So, not as smoothly as that mission could have gone. Obviously that casualty is going to be felt more and more as we go on, but still it wasn't a mission failure. So, we'll go straight on to the next mission, which is the APC chase, and we shall see you in that one then, as you join us for another glorious day in the Corps.